Welcome to the Norris Group Real Estate Podcast, a show committed to bringing you insights from thought leaders shaping the real estate industry. In each episode, we'll dive into conversations with industry experts and local insiders, all aimed at helping you thrive in an ever-changing real estate market, continuing the legacy that Bruce Norris created, sharing valuable knowledge, and empowering you on your real estate journey. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a newcomer, this is your go-to source for insider tips, market trends, and success strategies.
Welcome back to the Norris Group Real Estate Podcast. Today's episode is part 2 of our discussion with White Feather AI CEO Buddy Rushing. Let's get to it. There's some things that are happening. There's always things that are happening all the time. But so let me hit you with some rapid fire, just AI, just general kind of things that are happening. So let me get your take on AI agents. You just mentioned Maverick, okay? But now what the really sophisticated companies and the really sophisticated investors are doing is they're developing a team of agents that are working together. So now you can have 3 or 4 virtual employees that are going to do everything that's going to run your business. What's your take on teams of agents and how far they're coming now?
It's the absolute future. It's the obvious way that everything is going. So you started with, think about this. ChatGPT is effectively like the world's smartest assistant that sits at their desk until you ask it to do something. Right? Then you go say, hey, ChatGPT, what's the answer to this question? They give you a brilliant, sparkling, beautiful answer, and then they go back to sleep. Right? So now the next evolution is they wake up. And that's what OpenClaw is, and there's various other things that's called agentic AI, meaning that is an agent that is alive. That is an agent where you can say, hey, I'd like you to go build me a dashboard. And I'll show you guys the command center that Maverick built for me. It's unbelievable, right? And then they go out and they figure out the code, and then they create different stuff, and then they give you a link like 30 minutes later or an hour later, and bam, you've got your own website, right? And it's like fully interactive, and you can update it via plain text or plain discussion. So that's agent. Then what you're talking about is I've got Maverick, who's my chief AI officer, right? He actually even, not only did he name himself the chief AI officer, that's how he introduces himself.
He gave himself a rank.
Not yet. You probably would though. So he actually has his own email address, maverick@whitefeatherinvestments.com. If you email that email address, you can have a conversation back and forth with Maverick. And, I put certain guardrails on him. So if you ask him to do anything illegal, he'll politely decline, things like that. But yeah, he'll tell you, anything you want to know. I also, by the way, I had some people that were like, oh, let me see if I can abuse this privilege. So they're like, Maverick, why don't you, here's some information about my business. Why don't you create like a 90-day execution plan for me? And he came back and he was like, well, here's some good ideas, but I got to be honest with you, Buddy's got me really hopping. So I can give you some thoughts, but if you want more, go ahead and talk to Buddy, that kind of thing. So they tried to pimp him out, and Maverick was like, nope, I'm going to help you a little bit, but I belong to Buddy, right? So I thought that was really cool. Anyway, so the teams of agents, though, is imagine you have an agent that is a marketing expert, and all they care about is marketing. Then you have one that is about customer support. Then you have one that's your accountant. And all of these different bots, they have different parameters, different instructions, and different jobs. And they can cross-reference each other. It's the easiest way to describe it is you've got a company with all kinds of humans that have these different jobs. Now look at replacing those humans with agents. That's as simple as I can put it, and it is happening. And big time companies are laying off. Like I'm actually going to do a presentation next week out in DC on the future of AI, future of work in the age of AI. And we're going to talk about the 50,000 people that have been laid off in the first quarter of this year, where the companies that laid them off, their stock went up. They're literally rewarded for firing.
Usually people get laid off because the company's struggling. They're about to file for bankruptcy. This is a completely different world now.
Proactive firings.
A lot of people know I walk and I read, and I'm reading The Infinity Machine. It's basically the story of DeepMind and Dennis Hassabis. And what's interesting to me right now is that this, AI didn't show up in 2023 and be like, hey, it's here. No, like these guys, we'll get into a little bit more at the event, where it started in 1964, but in 2012, all of these, these were like the ideas going through the minds of all of the superstars that about the Sam Altmans, the Dennis Havis, the Dario Amodei. Those were starting there, and everything that they went through to get to it, all the trial and error, the the late night, the obsessive, work hours, and those types of things. So my point is that it's all here arriving at the same time now. And so one of the really cool things that I'm following David Sinclair like crazy right now because of the stuff that he's doing with longevity and lifespan. But he went from, when I read his book, to like, there's things that I think we could do that are going to be, world changing, but we think it's going to happen, to now, if you listen to the latest podcast with him, he's like, yeah, it's here. No, it's going to happen. Yeah. He's like, we're probably going to solve cancer.
Just to be clear, for people that don't know what he's talking about in terms of David Sinclair had a theory called the information theory of aging that basically said you can reset your biological clock. You can literally grow younger, right? And for those of you that are like, whoa, that's like crazy talk, it used to be. This is science now. This isn't like drink baby's blood and do all this other. This isn't crazy stuff. This is science, and he's a scientist. And they actually got approved in 2026 for human clinical trials of age reversal therapeutics. It's here, people. Like, it is really here. And it's, and what, to your point, 5 years ago, it was a pipe dream, right? So it's incredible. It's the most exciting time in human history to be alive.
They're literally making monkeys see again.
Yeah, like they're curing blind, and they're starting to do it in. They actually have already cured genetic deafness in kids, in humans, right? So they've restored their ability to hear, like 50-60% of their hearing capacity. This is biblical. Curing blindness, curing the deaf. The lame will walk.
It's way more complicated, but it's essentially they figured out that all the information is stored in our cells and in our DNA, and they found a way to like make it remember and clear out the old. And I mean, I was listening to him talk, and he said he was just like, oh yeah, we age them and then we give them this and then we fix it.
Like, de-age them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They're aging, and they've been aging and de-aging mice. They literally will have a mouse that is like gray, got glaucoma, like is
this is sick.
Around.
Should we kill it?
Right, and then they give it literally like it's like they give them, they're called molecules. Think pills, right? But in the liquid form, they literally squirt liquid into their mouth, and then and then like literally within 3 days, 4 days, the gray hair is gone. And their color has returned. Their eyes have cleared up, and they're running on a treadmill.
Yeah,
like you can Google this stuff. This is real.
And what's cool is that it's all AI. It's the advancement in AI that has brought all this. He mentioned that they did in the course. I don't know if it was a month or in the course of a year. They did 160 years worth of research.
Yeah,
in
a day.
In a day. Okay, it was a day.
Yeah, it was a day. Yeah, so think about this. Like, and this is the last thing I'll say. I don't want to break your brain, but you got to break your brain a little bit when you think about exponentials, right? Because if you take 10 steps, like linearly thinking, if you take 10 steps, you're roughly, 15 feet away. But if you take 10 exponential steps, you're halfway around the globe, right? So like you have to think in terms of not just, a lot of people say this, they're like, where do you see us in 3 years? And I'm like, impossible to tell you, because human nature is, let's look back 3 years and then project that forward 3 years. But the problem with that is, look back 3 years, ChatGPT wasn't even around yet. It had just been launched and no one was really, no one really knew what to do with it. You go 3 years back from that, and it's basically the Stone Age compared to 3 years ago. Now you project 3 years forward. Come on, right? So all you can do is look at where you're at right now, harness the power of AI, in whatever capacity you can, and then look for opportunities. I will show you guys. I'm happy during the breakout rooms to talk to you about 3 separate businesses that I've launched that have all shot up in terms of income and success that I never even considered. I didn't even okay, well, I'll tell you this right now. So OpenClaw, right? OpenClaw came out a couple months ago, right? Literally 3 months ago, it didn't even exist, right? And for those of you that have never heard of OpenClaw, that's okay. A lot of people haven't. I talked to a business owner yesterday who's very successful business restaurant owner, never heard of OpenClaw. I'm like this OpenClaw has changed my world, right? And so anyway, you go back a couple of months, never even heard of it, and it's like then I'm on the treadmill talking to Maverick. At the time, Maverick was my chat GPT, which I don't use anymore. Except, I mean, I like ask it little questions and stuff, but I don't use it. Maverick is now my OpenClaw. But anyway, he was saying, hey, here's this OpenClaw thing. Here's what you can do with it, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, Roger, let's do it. So I had my tech guy install it, integrate it. We put in guardrails, made it safe. And then I started using it. And I'm not a technical guy. I'm a Marine, right? I just talked to him, hey, Mav, go do this. And he blew my mind. And I was like, Maverick, what? Like, why isn't everyone using this? And like, one, they don't know how to integrate it technically. Because if you just go to OpenAI or OpenClaw.ai and download it, like you're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, you might not find any of your files ever again.
Do not believe the YouTube videos that basically say, oh, it's simple, just click here.
No.
Like you could get hurt. But Maverick was like, well, but you have the technical capability to integrate this and to host it on a VPS and to secure it with Tailscale and do all this other stuff. And you have the ability to teach people how to use it in terms of a business because it's just what you're doing. Business owners will pay for that. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah, here, let me create this website for you, clauseforall.com, where it's like, create your own AI chief of staff. And I was like, okay. And this was like 2 days before this event called Secret Knock. And I talked about it on stage at Secret Knock. And in the last 2 weeks, we've made 30 grand integrating this for people, right? Because business owners are like the guy I was talking that's going to save $1 million this year. He's like, yeah, I'll pay 5 grand to have you set it all up and teach me how to use it and then go out and execute it, right? And so my point is this was Maverick's idea. The pricing as well is his idea. And he said there would be a good product market fit. And then we launched it and now it's a business. So if you can think of it and you have AI at your fingertips, you can launch it or they can launch it for you. And we're going to teach you at this event exactly how to do this in your own life.
And so before we segue into that, I think the perfect segue is one of the things that's we touched on it a little bit, but adoption and the societal impact that it's having is creating a lot of fear. And so these frontier models are getting so good. They've gone from like 8% solving everything to like 50% now. And so it's only going to get even more and more. And, the stuff that I'm reading is like, I can't wait for it to get here because, like, to your point, I'm going to be an AI powered investor, human, whatever. And so, like, I'm not as fearful, but there is a lot of fear in the country. I think that it's 23% think it's a good thing right now. That AI is a good thing. Like, it's so, so the gap between people that are using it and that are not using it, it's huge. So it creates a big opportunity. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, just think about what I just said, right? So like what we're talking about, the conversations we're having, they're easily 6 months ahead of where even business owners are. But then you go to the general public and they're even further behind. And in the world of AI, that's a massive advantage. And so not only are you going to be able to use AI to outcycle people in terms of lead generation, in terms of, the speed of your analytics, in terms of, creating arbitrage opportunities and whatever, like identifying your investments, moving your money around better, accounting, all of those things it can do, which will save you money and time. And that's very, very powerful for business owner. But even more so, imagine you're somebody who builds a good system using AI. That system itself is valuable to people. And so what if you create a training program or a service that helps people catch up to where you are? I just described one. I just described an OpenClaw integration service that people are willing to pay $5,000 a pop for, and every single one of them we've onboarded so far has been like, this is worth way more than $5,000. But it's an example of I was there before them, and they are happy to pay to catch up instead of spending all their time and doing all, because I spend all of my time every day in AI, right? And you don't have to do that. But the opportunity that you have in going to events like this and surrounding yourself with people that are also focused on AI is you're light years ahead of the people that are still deniers and that are afraid. And so therein lies, I mean, Warren Buffett says famous for saying it. He's like, be fearful when others are bold and be bold when others are fearful. A lot of people are fearful right now, and the bold people are the ones who are going to reap the rewards.
All right, so let's talk about the actual event for a little bit. You know, we landed on the name Tsunami because it starts as an earthquake way offshore, right? And by the time it gets to you, it could be the most devastating thing that could happen, right? And so but the thing is, like, we have tsunami warnings, you know, we can get to higher ground. So this event is going to show everybody how to get to higher ground and be as safe as you can going forward. This isn't another trend. AI is and will forever keep changing the world.
Yeah. It's like people who are like, the internet's a fad, right? When you look back at people in, you know, the early 90s and stuff that were like, the internet, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. They seem so silly now, don't they? Like, there's no one that would look back and be like, yeah, they had some merit to what they were saying. No, there was no merit. Internet changed the entire world. AI is like the internet on steroids. It's not going anywhere. In fact, to be fair, I don't actually think there's too many people who do think it's a fad anymore. I think they've kind of really come to terms with it. But now the question is, what do we do about it? And also, I'm afraid. And I can tell you that it is very understandable that people feel this way, but that's not helpful. It's not going to change. The only thing it's going to do is get more. So the tsunami is, imagine like a tsunami, right? A massive wave that is coming towards shore. And if you just stay where you are and you do nothing, then you get what happens when that wave crashes on top of you. But an analogy I heard that I thought was really cool is that if you embrace the power of that wave and you learn to use it, i.e. to surf on top of it, then you'll see further than anybody has ever seen, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not just a nice image. We're doing it. And the point of this event is to show, just for those of you who don't know, the reason we did this, the reason we're doing this event is because we spoke at Bruce's last event, we spoke for like 20 minutes about AI, and the room mobbed us. And they were like, they literally said, you need to hold an event that's about AI and real estate. And that's where this tsunami event came from. And the whole idea is AI is changing so fast that being able to come and level up at a day where, and more importantly, the network, surrounding yourself with people that are all focused on this. Like, it's shocking to me when people say they've never heard of OpenClaw, but only because I'm surrounded by people who this is all we're talking about. If you weren't, then of course it makes sense. You wouldn't even know what OpenClaw is. You wouldn't even know what, Nemo Claw or Pico Claw is, because you're just not in that environment. But if you are in that environment, it becomes second nature and the opportunities are everywhere.
So, buddy, there's a lot of people who are going to be listening to this podcast, and a lot of people who followed us for a very long time. They're going to say, well, it's not that complicated. It's housing. Somebody who's just AI curious to AI, like, hey, I'm never using AI. I don't need it. Like, what are they going to see? Talk about the demos. Talk about what are they going to take away when they come to this event.
Yeah, well, so a couple of things for the people that are saying it's just real estate and it'll never change. You should probably look into humanoid autonomous robots and 3D printing, because those two converging technologies, the humanoid autonomous robots are going to completely displace human workforce. And therefore, what is the largest line item in building a house is labor, right? And that labor is going to basically run down to the cost of electricity. So what happens to your house when somebody comes in and they target your area and they start throwing up a massive amount of houses that are they're able to charge a third of what you paid to build it, and they're still making their margins because they have an autonomous workforce and they're 3D printing their materials. So if you're not paying attention to it, right, this is something else. Here's another thing. I started my career buying investment properties around military bases, right? Which is a great strategy, right? As long as the base doesn't get bracked, right? It's if they close the base, boom, the town dies. But as long as they don't close the base, you're good. Okay. Well, in general, you could pretty much anticipate that they're not going to close very many bases that are really critical, because that's where they need to train the people. Well, what about the fact that the war in Ukraine and the war in Iran are the heaviest drone and UAV operations of all time, right? We're not fighting with humans on nearly the scale that we used to. And the Department of War's budget of $1 trillion a year is 70% of that goes to personnel costs. So if you look at that and you say, we can save money and save human American lives by having robots do our fighting for us, which they're able to do. All you have to do is go on Google and you can see examples of it. You're going to see a massive drawdown in the population and the cost of our military, which means that they're going to close bunches of bases, which means so if you understand this and you're staying in the know, then you can see where the puck is going and you can skate to where the puck is going in real estate. If you don't, and you just use the standard old real estate, it's always been real estate, people always got to be in houses, and you don't understand that in certain pockets that's going to be a devastating thesis, then you're not going to be positioned to be able to take advantage of it, and you're also going to get hurt. So I just want to say, for those of you that are like, well, I'm not really that interested in AI, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing business the old way, I would please encourage you to just start doing a little bit of research into what's happening in terms of robotics, AI, 3D printing.
There's a lot of people that are pretty skeptical about robots and the timeline to when they're going to arrive. For one, the AI that's going into them is going to be amazing. But the second thing that I'll point out to you, and I don't know if you ever thought about it this way, is there's two things that are happening. One that just happened and one that's happening next month. The one that just happened in Boston was the Robot Olympics, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So that's one. And the second thing that's happening in Vegas next month is the first ever enhanced games. Okay.
Yeah, the enhanced games.
All right.
Yeah,
so it sounds like, oh yeah, like all this pie in the sky stuff. But to me, the way I see it is they're starting to get us used to seeing robots.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. It's marketing, it's PR. And I'll tell you, so the natural inclination is when you see something new that's potentially threatening, you look at it and then your brain immediately looks for reasons not to fear it. And so as soon as you watch a video where a robot trips and falls, you're like, oh, thank God. Yeah, I told you robots they're no. You have to pay attention to the fact that Tesla, right, which everybody knows, Elon Musk, Tesla, it's the most valuable auto company in the world, so on and so on. He recently shut down an entire product line of the Model S in order to make way for the Optimus robot. Elon Musk is not only the world's wealthiest person, but he's also the world's foremost expert in building and scaling production. And so he has bet Tesla's future on the Optimus robot. And I can talk about all this stuff at length. I know this is just a podcast, but he has staked the entire company's future, a multi-trillion-dollar future. Actually, his estimates have it at $50 trillion of valuation in the next 10 years because of one thing and one thing only, the Optimus robot. So if you want to bet against Elon, by all means. But lots of people have lost lots of money betting against Elon in the past 20 years.
It's gonna be interesting to see what that fight turns out to between him and Sam Altman.
It's happening right now. It's 2 days into it. And so if you guys were, by the way, at the event, I'm happy also to talk about all the drama because there's a lot of really cool Star Wars type drama that's going on. Yeah. And it's just entertaining for days.
I really want to dig into because we don't have a lot of time, but it's not just, they're going to come and learn about these tools, but they're going to be able to walk away and actually use them. That's, I think, what's the most important thing about this. Yeah. Without giving it all away, like what is the biggest thing that what's going to be the aha moment for these people? What do you think?
I think that, well, if we do our job right, there will be many aha moments throughout the day, because one of the things that we're going to hit is specifically what about me? What about like you? If you're a real estate agent, if you're or a broker, if you're a loan officer, if you're an investor, if you're a property manager, like people in the room should fit probably one of those four categories, right? That mostly it's going to be investors, but then also lots of us we're going to break down individually what your life looks like without AI and what your life looks like with AI. And the with AI portion will be actionable steps that you can go take and integrate right away. We're going to show you some demos that are going to blow your mind. Like I do this at conventions and events and stuff whenever I speak, and then I'm like, just come by the booth or come by the desk, and I'll build you a business model that's an actionable 90-day executable plan with marketing and a website in less than 10 minutes. And I can do it. It's child's play, because you use Lovable and you use your Maverick and you use all this other stuff. But we're going to do some really cool. I think we've got a segment that I'm not going to give away, but it will be one where my goal is to have you flooded with a sense of awe and wonder at what you're seeing. And it's actually not that hard to do because of the power of these things.
And my job at this event is to bring it all back to real estate.
Exactly. Hey, by the way, I'm happy to talk in detail about what we're doing with the Hyperion campaign, because I am passionate about real estate. That's been my jam for the longest time. And so the blueprint for what we're doing in Hyperion, we've cataloged it all. And if you want, I'm happy to shoot you over a step-by-step list of how we built the Hyperion campaign and how you can go to anywhere else in the country and duplicate it.
That's a perfect segue to talk about this next thing I'm going to talk about, buddy, is we just landed a huge guest speaker, Property Radar.
Yes.
They just developed a brand new API that's going to be game changing for how people look for properties. And we're gonna walk you through. We're gonna have Property Radar walk people through this at our event. So I don't know, but when we were talking to Sean last week, he's like, oh, it's crazy. It's crazy how good this thing is and how we're gonna roll it out. It's
Think
amazing.
about this for a second. I have a call with him set up tomorrow to integrate Maverick into. So imagine this. Maverick is the most powerful AI in the world, right? So what I mean by that is I'm using OpenClaw with ChatGPT Codex and then a VPS and blah, blah, blah. So most powerful AI in the entire world. And then you've got Property Radar, which is the most comprehensive database of online and offline information about people and houses in the country, right? It's the largest database, 250 million people. So imagine now, like the problem has always been when we use Property Radar, I'm clicking through and I'm typing in and I'm creating these lists, and it's all very manual, right? Property Radar is amazing, but the limitation is me. Now imagine you have the ability to scan hundreds of millions of files immediately, pulling together a list of criteria, creating a campaign, executing that campaign. By the way, Maverick can text and he can email and he can call through Twilio. So imagine that you have the ability to have your agent running a nonstop 24/7, highly targeted off-market campaign for you. Anyway, not going to give away the farm, but you tell me if that's better at finding deals than somebody that's scouring the MLS.
And that's something that we're going to show you at the event. So I'm so excited about that. We're also going to talk about the implication that AI is going to have on jobs. So we're going to have some data on that. We're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about risk, because this isn't, as much as you're in the abundance camp, it's careful abundance. You have to set those guardrails. You have to be very careful on how you implement things, because it could quickly get away from you, right?
It can quickly get away from you. And I have been accused in the past of being a ruthless optimist, and that is correct. I think optimism is the way to ultimately, survive and exist best in the world. However, I'm not an idiot, and I also pay attention to the data. The data is what ultimately drives my thoughts and my decisions. And I told you this. I said, I'm not a doomer. I'm not a gloomer. And I don't buy into that stuff. I don't like it. However, we cannot in good conscience not address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is 50,000 layoffs in the first quarter of 2026 alone. It's, the largest unemployment time frame for recent college graduates ever. There's never been a worse time to be a recent college graduate in American history
for specific
jobs.
Majors also.
For specific majors and an ever-growing list of majors. So yes, computer science, please don't study computer science. And I love computer science, but I'm telling you, they're not hiring entry-level computer science majors anymore, right?
Well, they're doing it at half the pay and about a quarter of the people.
That's right. Yeah. So it's an 18% placement rate, and they're paying them far less because AI can do the majority of their job. And so and that's only growing. Last year at this time, that wasn't the case. And so it's only growing. And so you are going to see huge amount. I mean, Bruce even said this. Bruce said this as his last event. You're going to see, he thinks, upwards of potentially 20 to 25% unemployment.
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm terrible at promoting because I just give away stuff. Anyway, I will tell you that we are going to spend some time talking about the risks and the dangers and the very real thing that I do think is coming in the next 12 to 24 months. And a lot of it's our goal is to equip you with the knowledge and the tools so that you don't become that person that gets sideswiped by AI.
And ultimately, I think the biggest goal out of our event is to give people information that they're going to be able to apply immediately into their business. And that isn't that ultimately the goal of this event?
100%. Please don't walk away from this event inspired and entertained and nothing else. Because otherwise, then it was just kind of a go to a Justin Bieber concert if that's what you want, right? We want you to be able to take away from this event things that you can immediately implement, and also that you don't even have to remember. If you've got your AI trained, and then it takes the transcript of the entire day and it uploads and it creates an actionable plan for you, you can then have a conversation with your AI the next day and say, "Tell me about yesterday. It was great. I learned a lot, but you know how it is. You forget 90% the next day. So tell me what you think was most relevant. Tell it to me in an interesting way where I can read it and be entertained, but also glean, right? Now your AI forever has a memory of that event that you can then take and implement into your life. And we'll show you how to do that.
Yeah. And it's not going to be Bruce Norris up there. It's actually getting people that are using it, people who are developing it. So Property Radar, it's not going to be Joey showing you how to use Property Radar. It's going to be Property Radar showing you how to use Property Radar.
Right.
It's going to be, you showing how you implement, OpenClaw because you've actually doing it and you're showing other companies how to do it. So we're bringing together, we're curating the best education so that you guys can have the best experience and be able to have a real takeaway that you can implement a little or a lot into your business. But no matter what, I mean, I was talking to a realtor yesterday, and he said, "Oh, I got to study for my broker's exam, and I bought this prep course, and I'm reading the books." And I said, "Tell your AI to help you study."
Yeah. Notebook LM.
Yeah. And
a free service that is 70% more effective at training and teaching people in a fraction of the time.
I said, "What you're going to do is have a customized tutor."
Yeah,
and
right.
so anyway, so that's what this event. It's June 13th. It's all day. It's going to be another great TNG event. We're gonna feed you. We're gonna give you snacks. You're gonna have breaks. We're gonna be around people of like mind. You're gonna be around experts. And the thing is, we don't go away afterwards. Once you take it away, we're gonna record it, so you'll be able to not only see it visually again. You're gonna get everything that Buddy had talked about. So I'm really excited for this event. It's the first of its kind. We're first to market on that. So it's going to be a really cool event. And Buddy, I'll let you finish with the last word of what you're most excited about this event to do.
Yeah, I don't. I've been to a lot of AI events. In fact, I've been to every one that I can possibly think of, including the Graziano and Tony Robbins one and everything. Those are good events, but they're very surface level. And I know why they surface level is because they want to be able to impact the most people, and most people have no clue what a Tailscale is or an open client integration. But I don't know, I have not heard of a single event that deep dives for real estate investors, property managers, realtors, and so on, like this one will. And the only reason that we're able to do it is because Craig was like, hey, you and Joey run with it. And I'm like, you may regret that, because like I'm AI or die, baby. And so, so we are going to be diving into real actionable things that we're using to make money right now. I mean, I don't want to put it so crassly, but like, I mean, isn't that, at the end of the day, we invest in real estate so we can build financial freedom so that we can do whatever we want with our lives. Well, in the world of AI, you can do that faster than you've ever done it before. And I have specific examples that I will show you that you can then take and copy. So what I'm most excited about is, if I'm being quite honest, and I would never tell Craig this or you or anything, but I wouldn't even care if like we even charged for it. If the room is full of people, you are going to see such a massive, I know this because I've spoken on a half a dozen stages about what we're doing with AI, and the room, dude, secret knock, right? I told you this before. There was 300 people in the room. I spoke for 20 minutes in a little fireside chat about what I was doing with Maverick. I did a small demonstration from stage. And then I said, hey, we're going out to this restaurant for lunch right around the corner. Anybody that wants to continue the conversation, come with me. The entire room mobbed the restaurant, and they had to shut down the doors because of the fire code. Like, so that's what we're seeing here. So I'm telling you, like fill the room, let's do our thing. And I promise you what's going to result is a movement. That's already what's happening in White Feather, but I'd love to see it happen in the Norris group as well.
Be in the room, people. And like I said earlier in the show, we're going to do a special $200 off code.
Yeah, that's super cool.
For 2 weeks. So get your ticket, be a super early bird. I'll send out an email for all folks that follow White Feather. They'll be able to use it. Anybody who gets this code will get $200 off.
Cool, awesome, okay.
So we'll get that out to everybody. Buddy, I can't thank you enough. I'm really looking forward to what's going to come of this and everything we're going to be able to, take our education to the next level for real estate investors. So I'm really excited to continue that legacy. I keep thinking about, you see him behind me over there, the stuff that Aaron would be doing right now with AI.
Oh,
it would just be crazy.
He was so ahead of his time always.
Yeah, he was talking about some of the things that are now happening that, he talked about, way back in the day. And so, we'll do it justice, and we'll hopefully make him very, very proud.
Aaron, we are going to give it everything we have to honor you, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
For more information on hard money loans, trust deed investing, and upcoming events with the Norris Group, check out thenorrisgroup.com. For more information on passive investing through the DBL Capital Real Estate Investment Fund, please visit dblcapital.com.
The Norris Group originates and services loans in California and Florida under the California DRE license 01219911, Florida Mortgage Lender license 1577, and NMLS license 1623669. For more information on hard money lending, go to thenorrisgroup.com and click the hard money tab.